Pay. We start on the Baraisa on the bottom of 82b. The Tanya, this is the concept that even a questionable hasra, suffik hasra, is still hasra. It says by the Korban Pesach, Loso Sirimenu ad Boker, don't leave any of the Korban Pesach until the morning. Anything left over, you have to burn. The Tanakam of this brisa learns that the assay of burning the noiser gives us an assay to follow the lot assay of lo sosiru, don't leave over. Lo marsha ein loikin alav de Rabbi Yehuda. We have a concept that the lava nitik lasay. If you have an assay to correct the lav, for example, the heshivas agzela, don't steal. But if you steal, you have to return it. Well, there is no malchus by gzela. Why? Because it's a lava nitik lasay. It's a correctable lav here as well. If you left over lo sosiru, if you left over, you burn it. De Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yaakov Omer lo min Hashem uzeh. He says he agrees that there's no malchus, but for a different reason. El mishum davle lav she'ein bo maisa. What is the maisa of lo sosiru? You don't do anything. You leave. If you just sat down with your hands folded and you didn't eat the Korban Pesach, you would violate lo sosir, but there's no maisa. Cholav shein b'maisa and loikin alav. And not only that, what kind of asra are you going to give? It would only be, but so from a hasra point of view, it might, even though it's a suffik hasra, I needed a pasuk to tell me that I don't get malchus. That's the proof of the Gemara. Toshma. Again, we're dealing with tzumchus, doing one action and getting two lavim. You ate two gida noshes from two different thighs from two different animals. Sofek shmonim. You get 80 malchus. Rabbi Yehuda Omer in sofek el arboim. You only get one malchus. Now, what's the case? If you're talking about it's one after another and there are two different asros, then why would anybody hold that you only get one set of malchus? You get two. My time we're talking about he ate this all at one time. Uvachada asra. The Tanakama, even though, makes you get two malchus. Now, who is that Tanakama? Man Tanakama. Ilay me Rabbanon, the Pligale de Sumches. Is it the Rabbanon by Osov Espino that said you only get one, even though Masum the Guf Mechlokim Pat Rabbanon, even though there were three cows, three different subjects of the law, you only get one. Here, you'd certainly only get you'd only get one. Elalav Sumchasi. It must be sumchas. The Gemara says no, that's not a proof. Loilam b'zachar zeh. It's talked about sequential. You asked if it's sequential with two asros. Why did Rabbi Yehuda only give you one malchus? To comment my time, Rabbi Yehuda kigon de lespe kazayas. One of the kazasim didn't have a kazayas. The Tanya achlo ve'ein bo kazayas. Chayiv, if you eat the whole Gida Noshe, so you ate a whole beria, you ate the whole thing, even though it's not a kazayis, you're Chayiv. Okay. Now, Walter or Harold yesterday asked this question that this Mishnah is going to deal with. How does a person know if he bought a mother and somebody else bought the child, they're going to be over the lab? No, well, how does this work? So the Mishnah explains how it works. Va'arba prakim b'shana. 4 times a year, when a person bought an animal, we understood they were going to shecht it that day. If you shecht it that day, we're going to see that the butcher or whoever sold the animals has to communicate to one person, I sold you the mother, and the other person, I sold you the child. You have to be in communication with each other, right? The seller of the animal has to tell whoever he sold to that he also sold either the parent or the child that day. I already sold this today, and therefore he has fulfilled his responsibility and tells them, don't shecht it today, because we're assuming that the person who bought it is going to shecht it today. So you shecht it tomorrow. One of the 4 days. Elohein, Erev Yom Tov Achron Shel, the Erev Shmini Atzeres. It was a very special Yom Tov for Klal Yisrael. Everybody was making a big party. Erev Yom Tov Arishon Shel Pesach, Erev Pesach, Erev Atzeres, Erev Shavuos, Erev Rosh Hashanah. Ukdiv Rabbi Yossi Aglili, Af Erev Yom Kippurim Begolo. Even Erev Yom Kippur in Galil. On Rabbi Yehuda. A Masai Bisman She'en Lo Revach. That's if you sold both animals the same day. Aval Yesh Lo Revach. If there's at least a day that has gone by, then Ein Tzarich Lodio. You have no responsibility of informing anything, because you assume that the guy who you sold it the day before already shechted it. If you sold the mother to the groom and the child of that cow to the bride, we assume they're both going to shecht it on the same day as the wedding, so there they have to know. If you contracted with a butcher to buy $10 worth of meat, and he accepted your money, and there's $1,000 of meat in the animal, afilu shava elef dinarim, we force that shoichet to shech the animal, even though he doesn't have any buyers. Even though the guy who bought it only gave him $10 worth. We force it. However, lefichach in meis, if the animal died, meis lokeach, the purchaser who gave the $10, he loses out. That's only on the 4 days where we knew that the people would shecht it that day. But on other days of the year, there we would not force the butcher to shecht if it's going to be a big loss for him. Then it's not considered a mekach tos. And therefore he doesn't have to give the money back. Or he has to give the money back to the guy who gave him the $10. Tana. Im lo hodio. And if you did not inform the people, the buyer, that he sold either the child or the mother that day, the buyer doesn't have to worry, he can still shech. He doesn't have to worry, maybe they shechted it today. It's not required. It's the seller's obligation. Amr Yehuda, aim aside by the wedding. Why dafka like that? To tell you the normal practice. Contrary to what our custom is, where the Kala's family usually pays for the wedding, at that time it was the groom who paid for most of it. So therefore, he bought the larger animal, the parent, because he was responsible for more of the wedding. In the Persian world, I have 3 Persian Jewish partners. They all got married. The Persian grooms pay for the weddings, contrary to the Ashkenazic practice. Barber Prokimelu. In 4 times of the year, we said that we forced the shoichet to shecht, even though he's going to lose money. Now the Gemara points out that the guy who gave the $10 didn't do Mashiach, he just paid money. V'aloi Moshach. Rav Huna says, no, he did Mashiach. But the rest of the year, no. The seller has to refund the money. Why? If the buyer did Mashiach, then he should lose out too. They didn't do Mashiach. However, the butcher sort of was mezaket to him through another party because it's a schus. Because barbo prokimelu, it's a schus to get meat. And therefore, zochin adam shlomofonov, another party can be zoch on behalf of a third party. But b'shayim osashana, the chov hulo, where in the rest of the year, by spending money, you lose out assets, it's considered a choiv, and chov and adam shlomofonov. Then we say it's the sale was not a good sale, and he has to give the money back. Rabbi Lezer and Rav Yochanan and Barbara Prokim Elu, different answer. On these 4 occasions, it's midin Torah, even money acquires it. You don't need Mashiach. Mashiach was a rabbinic institution. Dam Rav Yochanan. Dvar Torah mos konos. Minat Torah, when you pay money, it's a kinyan midaraisa. Ma tamom Mashiach koina. You have to wait till you do Mashiach. If I don't take the wheat into my possession, the seller's going to take my money. He has wheat in the attic. He's not going to be concerned if fire breaks out, and the buyer loses out his assets. So we make sure that buyers take the assets into their possession. But that's on Yontif, where it's a benefit for the guy. We go back to Doraisa Dikadin. That which we said, you can't shecht a mother and child on the same day. What kind of day is that? It's Vayher Vayvoker, right? The day starts by the previous night. So if you shechted during the daytime, that night, it doesn't violate. No, it's already the next day. As Zu Darash Rav Shimon ben Zoyma. Nemar b'maisa breishis yom echad. Right? It says Vayher Vayvoker yom echad. V'nemar b'maisa vespeno yom echad. Ma yom echad omer b'maisa breishis. Hayom olech achar alayla. It's Vayher Vayvoker. Af yom echad omer b'maisa vespeno. Hayom olech achar alayla. Ton rabbanon. Ezu darash Rav Shimon ben Zoyma. Ufisha kola inyan kulonim medaber v'kodshim. This parsha of Oso vespeno is written by Kodshim. Normally, Kodshim, we know it's night follows day. For example, if you shech the shlomim 5 PM, you have until the next morning to eat it. After the night, it's already gone. It's noiser. So for Kodshim, Yachol av zekin. I would have thought that maybe the din of Osav Isbeno follows the same thing. Nemar kan yom echad, v'nemar ma'aser beishis yom echad. Ma yom echad over ma'aser beishis hayom holech achar alayla. Yom echad ha'omer b'Osav Isbeno hayom holech achar alayla. Rabbi Omer yom echad yom ha'miyuchad ton cruise. There are days we have to announce that I sold you a parent and I sold you the child. And that's what we're talking about these days, like the 4 days of the year. Right? There is a din. If you shech the chaya or an oaf, you have to cover the blood. How did you cover the blood? You put dirt on the bottom, then you shechted, and then dirt on top. So you made a dirt sandwich with blood in between. Whether the base of Mikdash existed or not. Those of you who have shlokt kaporis with Chabad, and they shechted, they do kisur adam right then and there. B'fnei habayis v'shelo b'fnei habayis, b'aretz v'chutz la'aretz, b'chulin avalo b'mukdoshim. Only chulin, not hegdish. Now again, there's no animals, because animals you don't need kisui adam, only birds. So now birds don't get shchita, they get malika, but it still allows you to eat it. So we have to be taught though that it doesn't apply by mukdashim. Now the normal din of kisui adam noyeg b'chayev va'of. It applies to only wild animals, undomesticated animals, and birds. B'mizumin of v'shenim mizumin. Whether you prepared them or didn't prepare them. For example, you captured them from the wild like shiluach hakain. They were unprepared. Noeg b'koi. It applies to this koi. The neshu safek. It might be a chaya. So therefore, you have to do kisei adam misafek. However, in shoichin also beyond. Therefore, normally kisei adam, there's a little bit of malacha on yont. You have to grind up dirt. So you have to prepare the dirt in advance, and you might be over grinding and you shovel. You make a hole. So the Chachamim said, if you're going to shecht mamish achaya, you're allowed to do it. However, since a koi we don't know it's a safek, ein shachtin also beyond lechatchila. V'mishachtu en mechasnes damo. If you shecht it, you don't cover its blood. Misafek. Freit the Gemara Mukdosh in my time alone. How come hegdish animals there's no kisei adam? Ilay mishum Rav Zera dam Rav Zera. Hashoichet tzarach sheyitin offer lamata v'offer lamala. You have to make a sandwich. Dirt on the bottom, dirt on the top. Shenamar v'shofach es damo v'chiso ba'offer. Offer lo nemar elabeh offer has to be done in the dirt. Melamed shashoichet tzarach sheyitin offer lamata v'offer lamala. Hachal lo yafshar. By kachim, by birds, there's no way to do that. Hechilavit. Leisiv eliptula. Shall he put, because remember, the shechita was done on the mizbeach. So what do you do? Put dirt on the mizbeach? Kamasif abinyan, you're adding to the binyan of the mizbeach. Uksiv hakobich sav miyad Hashem alai yiskil. You can't enlarge the mizbeach. Lo liftale, don't be mevatalet, have a chatzitza. Then it's a separation between the blood and the mizbeach. So it cannot be done. Fine. Fine, you can't, when you make the sandwich, you can't put the blood on the bottom. But lamala me'avshar. At least do what you can do. Do kisui adam on the top. Levid kisui. Milo tani Rabbi Yosef ben Yosef omer shochet chay v'achkach shochet behema. If you shecht the chaya and the blood is on the floor, then you shecht the behema. Potter melachasais, because you already covered it with the blood of the behema. However, behema v'achakach chaya, if you shechted the behema, the blood is on the floor, then you shechted a chaya. Chayav l'chasais, below the blood is the behema's blood, but you still have to put dirt on top. So the Gemara says, "Kid Rav Zera, Dam Rav Zera, kol aroy lebila and bila makeves." If you bila is a mincha with 60 esronos, you have to mix it with 1 isaron of oil. Now, if you didn't mix, or 1 log of oil, if you didn't mix it, you're not over, because you have the proper ratio, 60-1. And therefore, the bila, as long as it's royal bila, the fact that you didn't do it is not ma'akev. If you have 1 in 61, it's not royal bila, then it's ma'akev. Kol shein ain't a royal bila, bila ma'akev is spoke. So here as well, if the blood is ready to have blood below and above it, then you could try to fit it in. But here it was never roy from the beginning, because you didn't have blood below it. Let him scrape the blood off the mizbeach, put it on the ground on dirt, and then cover it. Milotnan damanitas. You have blood that splatters on an apron. V'shelasakin, or on the knife. Chayv l'chaslis. You have to cover it. How do you do that? You scrape it off and you cover it. Do the same thing here. So ibakotche mizbech chanami. If you're talking about birds being offered on the mizbech, you in a chanami, they could do that. We're talking about kotche berekabayas that were donated for temple upkeep. It only has kedushas dami, and therefore you can't benefit from it from the ilah. You can't eat it, so the shechita doesn't allow you to eat it. Therefore, it's not considered a shechita with requirement to do kisui adam. Okay, so we will pick up Friday afternoon, and we'll try to do as much as we can. Try to do a blot and a half, or a blot, whatever.
At what time on Friday?
Well, let's do it at 5 o'clock.
Well, 5 seems to work, yeah.
Let's do a 5 o'clock Shabbos, Erev Shabbos.
Okay.
Everyone should have an easy fast.
Amen.
Hey.